Hello, world, and welcome to the Quick Kick Picks presented by Bros Talking Soccer. My name is Dave Canitto here with my brother Christian. We're talking MLS Match Week 14. Christian, hello.
Hello, David.
All right, a couple announcements before we get into things. We are starting a Quick Kick Picks game. You can play along with it. We'll have more announcements on Twitter, but the basic concept is this. Leave your comments. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave your comments here, but Twitter is preferable so we can comment and interact with you and get in touch with you if need be. But over the course of the month of June, we're going to be asking you to play along with us. Give your guesses on all the games. If you get the home score correct, that is 1 point. If you get the away score correct, that is 1 point. If you get the result correct, so if you pick home team to win and they win, that is a point. If you pick the away team to win and they win, that is a point. Or if you pick a draw and it's a draw, that's also a point. If you get all three of those correct, you get an additional 2 bonus points. So that is 5 points in total up for grabs with every game. I'll keep a running tally. I got a sweet Google Docs to keep track of all of this. And the winner at the end of all this will get 15 minutes appearance on our podcast. It'll be so much fun. We're looking forward to it. So please play along with us. Again, you can comment below the YouTube video if you're watching there, but preferably over on Twitter so we can interact with you. Christian, any advice you want to give to the people?
Listen to our analysis. We are very wise.
There you go. That's good advice. The other quick disclaimer, again, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitter restricts us to about 2 minutes and 20 seconds for every video. So we have a timer here, and that's why we kind of rush through things and get cut off. And that's why I have that whistle set up to go off after 2 minutes or so to give us a little reminder that we need to stop talking. So just like to always provide that advice. Christian, are you ready?
Oh, Dave, I'm ready.
So much energy. Christian's bringing the good vibes right now. Kicking things off on Friday, May 31st, we have the Vancouver Whitecaps hosting Toronto FC, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's going to happen here?
So I think this game is going to look tighter actually on the tables than it really is. I think Vancouver in 9th place in the West is coming up against the 8th place team in the East. So they have the same amount of points on 17. Toronto's played 2 games less, though. Toronto are significantly better as a team overall, in my opinion. I think that they are a better team. I don't know if I'm really sold on their defense, but just in terms of creative attacking players, that they clearly have the advantage. I think Vancouver are decent, but not as good as Toronto have.
So I'm in agreement. I think the Toronto roster is a little bit more talented. They have won 2 straight games, and they have scored. I don't know if they've won 2 straight games, but there's at least 2 straight games where they've scored multiple goals for the first time all season. They won at home last week, 2-1 over FC Dallas, and are undefeated in 3. Montero has been more involved. Freddie Montero, that is, center striker for Vancouver. He scored or assisted in 5 of their last 9 goals. They were struggling to score goals early, and if he can get going, that is a good sign for them. I've also liked Venuto for them. On the Toronto side of things, both Bradley and Osorio were out for them, and I think that was a bad sign against San Jose, and that's the reason why they lost that game. Pozuelo coming back is good, and Josie being back from injury. I think this is the first time that both Josie and Pozuelo are playing together again. Toronto's been winless in 5 matches, and I think a lot of that has coincided with the 2 of them not playing together. So I have Toronto winning this on the road 2-1.
Yeah, I have a 2-1 victory for Toronto as well. I think it's going to be a tight match, but I still think Toronto's attacking threat will shine at the end of the game.
Yeah, I was also impressed with Lorea's 1v1 ability for Toronto. I'll be interested to see if he gets more time with the team. He was rewarded with the goal last week against San Jose, and it'll be interesting to see if he gets more opportunities. That is it. Leave your, again, predictions below. Comment, let us know, and good luck. Enter the Quick Kick Picks game. Next match we are talking about is Saturday, June 1st. We have Montreal Impact hosting Orlando City FC, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, Montreal won 2-1 at home midweek against Real Salt Lake. Omar Brownie was very good in that game. He is a great third scoring option for Montreal behind Piatti and Taider. I was worried about them offensively, and Brownie has really stepped up after transferring from CAI, I think it's pronounced Kai, in Panama. He had a very good CONCACAF Champions League. Piatti was rested midweek, so I think he's back from injury. He should be more involved, and Montreal should have things going. But ultimately, I think this is 2-2. But before I give my reasons why, Christian, what do you think is going to happen here?
I think Montreal's going to win this game at home. Orlando, they have that 5-1 2 games ago against Cincinnati, but that's a little skewed because it was against Cincinnati, so you can't read too much into that. They lost 1-0 at home last week against LA, who, I mean, LA were without Ibra, who's obviously the focal point of that attack, and we saw without Ibra, they really aren't that good. And Orlando's lack of finishing really proved costly in that game. And I don't see them going on the road to one of the better defensive teams in the league and being able to take their chances more so than Montreal will.
Yeah, I still think on paper Montreal should be better defensively, but the numbers aren't necessarily supporting it. The other thing is they've had back-to-back multi-goal games for the first time all season, and that's still only given them an average of 1.2 goals per game. Now, Orlando, I don't think they are fresher. They didn't have a midweek match. They're going to be full strength. I think Nani and Akindelli are going to be playing up top, and either Mueller or Dwyer are going to be influential for them. I think they find a way to get some goals, and Montreal, because they're going to be a little bit more tired, even though both matches were at home, they're going to give up 2 goals. I do, again, think Piatti being back is helpful for Montreal, but Orlando finds a way to get some goals.
I'm saying 2-0 for Montreal in this one. I just don't see Orlando scoring on the road.
All right, there you are. Make sure to leave your prediction and enter our Quick Kick Picks game as well. Next match, we have Atlanta United hosting the Chicago Fire, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, June 1st. Christian, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, this is an interesting one. Chicago just seems like one of those teams that won't go away. They are very persistent and very, very good in the attack.
You might say they won't Chicago away.
Yeah. You could say that. I'm not going to say that, but you could. All right. So I think that they're one of those teams that they just don't know when they're beaten. And they were up 2-0 this past week and then ended up going down 3-2 to DC, only to score in the 95th minute of I think it was somewhere around there. And
it was the 93rd minute, but still, yeah. Minute. Second half stoppage.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Dave. I apologize for that 2-minute break.
Facts. We are all about facts. We're low on puns, high on facts.
That's an awesome result for them to get. DC are in incredible form right now, and I think that they're one of those teams that just will not get rolled over no matter who they're playing because of their attacking firepower. Atlanta, on the other hand, are in great form. I know they lost 2 straight earlier, but they have won the other 6 games, I think, that they've played in that 8-game stretch. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, well, they have 4 straight shutout wins at home. So both those losses came on the road. They're playing at home again. They won midweek 3-0. They're starting to really look good. Joseph Martinez got 2 goals midweek, and I watched for about 50 minutes. Pity Martinez looked very good as well. Things started to open up a little bit more. We saw them playing early in the season, and they were very static, very slow in the build-up. Things opened up a bit more midweek against Minnesota. I don't know if that was the opponent or if that's what Atlanta is trying to do more of, but that was an encouraging sign to see. And I ultimately think this one ends 2-0 to Atlanta. They're just too good at home. They don't concede, and for that reason, I think Atlanta wins 2-0.
I think it's going to be a surprise 1-1 result here, which I guess isn't too big of a surprise, but I think Chicago will score first and Atlanta will have to come back to get a point.
Kappelhoff injury is going to be a big loss for Chicago as well, so I think he might be out in this one. Comment, join our game, let us know what you think is going to happen. If you're watching on YouTube, I apologize because we cut these up and put them on Twitter. I got to say that after every game. Christian, we should probably talk about what the best way to do that moving forward is, because I keep saying the exact same thing over and over again. Let's keep this thing moving along now. Next match we're talking about is New York Red Bulls versus Real Salt Lake, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and apparently the same colors according to my $6 marker pack. They have the same colors. I believe that this one officially will end 2-1 to the Red Bulls, but I could be convinced if Aaron Long is rested or is still injured that this ultimately ends up as a 2-2 draw. So I'm predicting 2-1 to the Red Bulls, but I could be convinced otherwise. Red Bull was off midweek. BWP still has a groin injury. He's still listed on the injury report. I don't know if he's back. I don't know if Aaron Long is going to be back. Other players, though, have stepped up in their absence. Red Bulls are undefeated in 4, and they have 3 wins in those 4 matches. They're only taking 3.8 shots on target per match, but they're scoring 1.5 goals per game. That's a pretty good ratio. Meanwhile, RSL lost midweek. That halted a 3-game winning streak, but they still haven't been shut out since April 6th. I think they find a way to get a goal here, but Red Bull ultimately prevails 2-1. Christian, what do you think is going to happen?
I absolutely think that Salt Lake will score on the road here, but I don't think that they're going to win this game. I think the Red Bulls do find a way to score 2 goals, and it is a 2-1 victory, and that's the same you had, so fun. But I just do not trust the Red Bulls defense right now. They seem a little bit lost, and like you said, with Long being out, potentially, that's even worse, and there's no way they're going to be able to keep RSL out right now. RSL, yeah, like you said, I'm going to just repeat this again. They lost in midweek. What, were they at home? No, they were on the road, right?
They're at Montreal.
At Montreal, which is, I think it's one of the tougher places to go right now. And wouldn't say it's the toughest place to go, obviously, but I think it's one of the more difficult ones to go to, especially in the East. I don't know. It just seems to be one of the tougher places to go.
In midweek, too.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to be coming off a midweek game. So I just think that the Rebels are going to be fresher when it comes to it. And they're going to score 2 goals here.
There you have it. Wonderful timing there. Comment with your predictions and join our quick kick picks game. Next match we are talking about. Let me start the timer. Next match. Columbus Crew hosting New York City FC, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going first on this prediction. Or no, I went first last time. Christian, you're going first. What do you think's going to happen?
I think that New York City's going to win this game on the road, which can be seen as bold, but I really don't think that it is. I think Columbus have just fallen from grace after a blistering start to the season. They won their first 3 games, right? And had 3 straight clean sheets or only gave up 1 goal, something like that. They've only gotten 7 points total from the next 12 matches, which is just horrendous. And I don't know what happened to that team. New York City, on the other hand, just don't seem to lose games. They've lost 1 game all season, and no matter where they go, they're grinding out results. And I don't think that they're really proving that they're one of the elite teams in the league, but they're one that is going to be very, very difficult to beat.
So who wins?
You want me to say who wins?
Well, I said New York City
wins, and I was giving you a chance to speak, but I'm going to go with a 3-1 road victory for New York City.
Okay. I have this one ultimately ending up as a 1-1. Now, Columbus, they only have 1 draw on the season, so this will be their second one, and that was their first match. So every other match since their first one has either been a win or a loss, and they have mostly been losses. They've lost 8 of their last 9, including 3-2 to Colorado last week. Not a great sign, though. Colorado's starting to turn things around. They're 22nd in the league in shots on target per match, 23rd in the league in goals scored. They're just not scoring. But I think they find a way to at least get a goal here. Harrison Awful still being out has really hurt them. I think his injury has really impacted them.
Some might say that's awful.
But he hasn't been back. There's your pun from Christian. Meanwhile, NYC FC, they're undefeated in 8 matches, 4 wins, and 4 draws. Morales, Matrita, and Hebert look like a very dangerous trident up top. And Tajuri Shradi is supplementing that as well. And so they have a bunch of attacking options. And I think NYCFC finds a way to get a goal, but Columbus does as well, and this ends 1-1. Let us know what you think. Leave your predictions below. Comment if you're on Twitter. Next match we're talking about DC United hosting San Jose Earthquakes, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. DC is coming off that wild 3-3 draw midweek against the Chicago Fire. Ulises Segura really stepped up in that match. He got 2 goals in Ariola's absence, and Acosta got 1 as well. That is an encouraging sign to see because Rooney has really carried them offensively so far this season, and Ariola has been kind of their second option. So the fact that Acosta and Segura stepped up is an encouraging sign from a DC perspective. I'm just going to power through that. I know I stumbled over my words. They only have 1 win, 3 draws, and 1 loss in their last 5, though. They're not on a good run of form. They're one of 6 teams tied for 3rd with 1.1 goals conceded per game, though. So their defense has still remained strong. I think that they find a way to get a 3-1 win at home in this one. Before I give more commentary about San Jose, Christian, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, you pronounced Seguin, which was one of the more fun ones that you've done before. I want to say that San Jose, for as poorly as they started the season, really has recovered a little bit. They have conceded 24 goals in 13 games so far, but most of those were early on. I think that they've gotten their act together more than I expected them to, and they've been impressive, especially Wondolowski at the other end of the field. He's scoring goals now, and he's breaking records, as we've seen. So he's got 6 goals in his last 2 games, right, for San Jose?
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
And I want to say at least 5, if not all 6, have been first touches. So that was something I'm going to steal from you if you were going to say that.
That is something that I might have said, but it's okay. I'll forgive you. The one touch that he missed for the U.S., though, I'll never forgive. All right, so I still think that San Jose are a very, very talented squad, and they're going to give a game, obviously. So I think that they're going to get a point in this game. 1-1.
Okay. 1-1. Okay. Yeah. I do want to say San Jose is the second highest possession numbers in the league, but they're conceding 1.8 goals per game. You would expect them to have, better defensive numbers, but I guess teams are hitting them on the counterattack. What do you think is going to happen in the match? Leave your comment below. Okay, I know. You're whistling at me twice there. I don't need you to yell at me, phone. Next match we have. Oh, no, I grabbed too many papers. Next match we have. Next match. All right, let's take a second here. Let's take a second. I'm not going to lie to you. Cancel. What's up?
I forgot who they were playing, so I got lost there.
DC,
I never mentioned DC once because I couldn't think of who it was and I couldn't get my phone to work.
All right, there you go, people of YouTube. You're getting that extra content. We will cut that out from Twitter. Next match we are talking about. FC Dallas is hosting the Seattle Sounders, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's happening here?
Oh, man. I think this is a tougher one to say because I thought Dallas were a very good team at the start of the season, but they've kind of tailed off a little bit in recent weeks, and they're really not looking as potent as they once did. I think Seattle, on the other hand, are looking pretty solid, and they're scoring goals, and they're also defending very well. I think they're a very well-rounded team. I don't think that they are the top team in the West. Obviously, there's LAFC there, but I think that they're probably second or third in the West in terms of just overall quality of their team and the way that they're set up. And I just think even on the road this week at Dallas, they're going to get a win. And I think it's going to be a tight match, and they're going to win with a late goal, but I think it's going to be 2-1 on the road.
I'm in agreement. I think it's a 2-1 Seattle win. I think Dallas has been hurt by international call-ups and untimely suspensions. A lot of their players are with the U20s, and then Matt Hedges getting suspended with that red card has really hurt them. They are winless in 6, 4 losses and 2 draws, and they've only scored 4 goals in those 6 games. Either Ferreira, Barrios, or Baji really needs to heat up and start scoring for them. Seattle, meanwhile, they lost over the weekend to SKC, but that was their first loss in 6 matches. Having said that, 4 of them have been draws. It's not like they're exactly lighting things on fire from a form perspective on their own front. They lost Kim Keehee, to another center back, to injury. Chad Marshall retired. He's not listed on the injury report, so I think he might be back in this one. But again, that's something to look out for because they've had some poor luck with injuries. Speaking of injuries, Jordan Morris is likely still out in this one. But they did get Rui Diaz back. He got a goal in SKC. He got a goal in SKC, and he's finally back. That's an encouraging sign. I think all of those factors contribute to Seattle finding a way to get 2 goals on the road. They're more battle-tested, I think a little bit more talented, especially with so many players away for FC Dallas. Anything you want to add?
Nope.
Let us know what you think is going to happen in this match. Next match, we are talking about Colorado Rapids hosting FC Cincinnati, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Colorado, man, where the heck did that come from? They are on a nice run of form now, undefeated in 3. They somehow grinded out a result in Philly to get the 1-1 draw. Philly just couldn't finish, and to be honest, Colorado did what they had to do. They rotated a number of players in their lineup. They just hung around, and then Jonathan Lewis comes off the bench, scores a nice volley with his weak foot, and Colorado holds on. So you got to give them props for that. They were, again, I already touched on, they were able to rest players, but so I would expect Kamara and Price to be back in their weekend match against FC Cincinnati, and for that reason, I have Colorado getting a 3-1 win here. They've proven that they can score goals, and their defense has started to kind of stabilize to an extent. I think they still give up a goal to FC Cincinnati, who's not exactly scoring a ton, but they find a way to only concede 1, and this one ends 3-1 to Colorado. Christian, what do you think is going to happen?
This is a battle of the bottom feeders, and they are bottom of each division or conference, whatever we want to call them. I think it's conference. And I don't know what I want to say here. I think there's going to be goals for both teams because I don't trust either of them defensively, specifically for Colorado, who somehow are grinding out these results. They are the definition, especially in that last Union game, the definition of smash and grab. Just like they were getting absolutely hounded in terms of chance creation from the Union, and the Union's lack of finishing just gave them the opportunity to grab one opportunity, which they did. And I think Lewis's goal was just a complete lack of focus from the Union, but you got to take your chances when they come up, and they're doing that right now.
Yeah, and on the FC Cincinnati front, we haven't touched on them too much. Christian, quick trivia for you. I know you're the trivia guy. In their last 8 matches, how many goals have Cincy scored? Quickly.
Ooh, 3.
3 is correct. Wow, great job, Christian.
I'm
Their
good at
offense
trivia.
has not been nearly good enough, but Frankie Amaya has been really good for them. And Fernando Adi being back in the lineup, he looked a little rusty this past week, but I think he is going to be influential for them moving forward. I think they find a way to get a goal, but again, still rusty in this one, and this one ends 3-1. Christian, did you give a score?
3-1.
3-1. 3-1 as well. Nice. Way to copy me.
Oh, man.
All right. Next
4-2.
match we're talking about. Houston versus SKC, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what do you think is going to happen here?
I think I went first last time.
Okay. I don't think so, but I will get – no, you most certainly did not. You go first.
Okay, I'll go. Okay, well, let's start that over.
Okay. All right. Bear with us here. All right. Oh, this is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Next match we're talking about. Houston Dynamo hosting Sporting Kansas City, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what do you think is going to happen here?
So I think that Houston is going to end up winning this game. Sporting Kansas City seem to be getting some of their players back and are starting to find a little bit of form, but I don't think that they have enough right now to really challenge this Houston team, especially on the road. I think Houston are a very, very well-organized team, and they're one of the top teams in the West right now, probably in the third best, in my opinion, right now. I think that they're very, very
second
good.
Or third. Yeah, I think you can make a case that they're second.
Yeah, I still think Seattle have them beat just in overall talent, but I think that they're just incredibly well-drilled, and they're a tough team to play against. I think that there be a lot of chances created in this game. Kansas City, on the other hand, just continue to leak goals left and right. So I think that Houston are going to tear that defense apart, and it's going to be, I think, 3-0 in this game.
I have it being 2-0. Now, Houston is undefeated in 8 matches at home. They've scored in every match as well, and they're averaging 2.5 goals per game. So they're playing very well at home. They did lose at Minnesota, and Elise wasn't involved in that due to a concussion. If he's not involved in this, I think their offense takes a hit. I hope he is back, though, because he's an exciting player to watch. SKC, meanwhile, they won this weekend, but they lost midweek at home to LA Galaxy. They just simply can't get things figured out. It was nice that they had 18 players rostered for the first time in what feels like quite some time. So they're getting players back from injury. Graham Zuzi was back, and that was an encouraging sign to see. But they have no wins on the road this season. They've only picked up 2 points in those 5 matches. They're scoring less than a goal per game on the road. And for all of those reasons, I expect Houston to come through with a 2-0 win. SKC is 4th in the league in possession, but Houston's built for the counterattack, so that's something else to watch in this one. Christian, anything else you want to add?
That's what I was going to highlight is Houston's counterattacking ability. They're just not going to be able to keep up with the pace. Their defense just is going to get eaten alive.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Let us know what you think is going to happen in this Houston versus SKC match. Again, enter our Quick Kick Picks game. Play along at home. Next match we are talking about. The Portland Timbers are hosting LAFC, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the matchup of the weekend. You need to stay up late if you're on the East Coast. You need to cancel all of your plans Saturday night. If we had fancy graphics, we would have a bear in a chair gif because this gonna be good. Christian, you like that one? Portland are opening up their stadium after 12 matches on the road. They finally have a bit of form. In their last 6 matches, which again have all been road games, they have 4 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Portland is really starting to turn things on. LAFC, strongest team in the league. Providence Park is absolutely going to be rocking. 25,000 people going to be there. I think from a attacker and midfield perspective, Portland can go somewhat toe-to-toe with LAFC. I think LAFC has a slight edge there. I think where LAFC really kind of separates themselves is on the defensive side of the ball. But having said all of that, I think Portland finds a way to get a 3-2 home win, buoyed by Brian Fernandez and that home crowd. They find a way to knock off LAFC in this one. But Christian, what do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to be a happy homecoming for Portland. They've been away for quite some time, and their fans are going to be rocking, no doubt about it. I think LAFC are just clearly the best team in the league, hands down, in all facets of the game. I can't see them going to Portland and not getting at least a point. I think that they do end up winning this game 3-2. I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of goals in this game, even though LAFC is very good defensively. I just think the atmosphere is going to make for a little bit of shaky mistakes. But yeah, LAFC are just too talented in the attack, and they're going to tear that Portland defense apart if they start playing that interplay, which we've seen time and time again this season. Specifically, Portland, who did win 3-1 on the road at the Union last time out, they really didn't create many chances, and they gave up a bunch of chances. The Union just didn't pounce and take the opportunities. So I think LAFC are going to get the result.
All right, I expect the game to be wide open and a ton of fun. Again, you should be tuning in for this one. Let us know what you think is going to happen there. Moving to Sunday, June 2nd, we have Minnesota United hosting the Philadelphia Union, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I know Minnesota's in the West now, so we're going to say they're not playing against an Eastern Conference rival.
Very good.
Union.
You're learning. That's important.
I know Minnesota's not doing great. They're a pretty mid-level team, but the Union right now are just in a abomination of form. Right? I don't know what happened at home.
They're not an abomination of form. Your fandom is coming out there.
A little bit, but it doesn't matter. 3-game home. They're in a funk.
They're in a funk.
Okay, fine.
3-game homestand.
3-game home stretch here where they only scored 2 goals in 63 shots that they had. 18 shots in the box in the last match, which is just absolutely ridiculous. They only could score 1 goal in that game. I just don't think right now, with their lack of finishing ability, they're going anywhere to win a game. And I think Minnesota are a team where they could take advantage of opportunities being created. I don't think Minnesota have one of the better defenses in the league, but Minnesota can punish you on counterattacks, and I don't really trust that the Union's defense, which has been susceptible to counterattacks in the past few weeks, is going to be able to keep it out. And I think the Union are going to lose this game 2-1.
All right, I have 2-1 for Minnesota as well. I watched the first 15 minutes of Minnesota versus Atlanta, and Atlanta and Minnesota played them fairly even. They were possessing fairly well. I don't think the 5-3-2 formation was the right call in that scenario. Ibarra versus Pity Martinez was not the right matchup. I expect Minnesota to revert back to the 4-4-2. I would expect Quintero and Rodriguez to be up top and him to be a handful, the two of them to be a handful for the Union team. Meanwhile, Philly, you touched on it. They're putting 28% of their shots on target in their last 3 matches. Not great. They created 51 chances, 7 big chances, which means that should result in a goal. And they've only scored 2 goals in those 3 games. I think for all of those reasons, Philly finds a way to get a goal, but isn't enough. Minnesota gets a 2-1 win. Leave your comments and predictions and join our Quick Kick Picks game. Last match, we are playing but that is happening. LA Galaxy versus the New England Revolution, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're getting silly with the last match here. I have LA getting a win here and a fairly comfortable 3-0 win. LA 2-0 result on the road midweek at SKC. Zlatan being back, he set up a goal and he got another goal. That's their second straight shutout win after they had that minor skid a couple games ago. Polenta and Felcher were out on Wednesday. If they're back, I think LA, I'm finally getting a little bit of confidence in their defense. I know that the stats say that they've been good all season, but I think Giancarlo Gonzalez has been a great signing for them, and then Polenta has been great as well. And so if he's back, I expect them to sort of solidify the defense and really lock down New England. I really like Antuna's game as well, and that midfield with Leggett, Dos Santos, and Kitchen has a lot of bite, and it's going to be tough for New England to break down. Before I give any more thoughts on New England, Christian, what do you think is going to happen?
I'm predicting a LA win by 4-0. I think that they're going to just really be lit up at home. Ibra's returning home for the first time in a while after his suspension. They haven't seen him at home. So I just think that he is that focal point in the attack. And you saw it this week. He had the assist and the goal in their win. He just changes an entire game. And yeah, you would expect a player of that quality to do so, but New England is not the team who's going to be able to figure out an answer to stop him and the rest of the attackers on that team.
Yeah, on the New England side of things, I'm going to give you a couple negatives. First, unfortunately, they have no wins on the road in 7 matches this season. They've only accumulated 3 points, all in draws. They're conceding almost 3 goals per game on the road as well. They have the least amount of shots on target per match in the entire league. That's across both home and away. They have the lowest possession numbers, the second worst defense, and third worst attack. So, having said all of that, they have 2 straight draws, and the draw against DC felt like a win. Bruce might be on the sideline, and that might be a boost for them, but I say might because at the end of the day, LA gets a comfortable 3-0 win. Anything you want to add?
No.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. We'll try to be better with our next Quick Kick Picks video because that was a little bit sloppy. Christian and I are stumbling over ourselves, didn't have great transitions, and I need to figure out how to close each match. So if you have suggestions, leave them in the comments section below. This has been Quick Kick Picks presented by Burrows Talking Soccer. I'm Dave. That's Christian. Christian, anything you would like to say in closing?
Let's go get some matches played.